Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, where we try not to spill coffee on ourselves before we even start recording. It's Mira here, ready to compare and contrast.
And Leo joining you, folks. Mira, you make it sound like it's a daily occurrence. Good to be back, and hopefully we won't break anything in the studio today.
Well, Leo, speaking of breaking things, you won't believe what happened to me last week. I tried to bake a cake. Oops.
Oh, no, Mira, not the kitchen again. Last time, wasn't it volcano tomato sauce?
I decided to get all fancy and make a souffle. It looked amazing until I opened the oven. It deflated faster than a politician's promise. Whoa.
A souffle apocalypse. That's comical, Mira. But did you at least try to eat it?
I've poured chocolate sauce on it and called it deconstructed souffle. My dog seemed to enjoy it.
You're a true artist, Mira. By the way, did you guys like our new intro music in YouTube? Feel free to drop a like in comments for the new intro, if you like it.
Today, we're diving into France versus Italy, two countries famous for food, art, and very passionate opinions about football.
Indeed. If you're thinking about moving, vacationing, or just want to sound smart at your next cocktail party, stay tuned. Well, mention the details on Jet Off. Aha!
We'll explore everything from baguettes to Vespas. So buckle up, because this is going to be a delicious ride. Oh.
And for our French and Italian listeners, don't worry, we'll try to be fair. Mostly. Get ready for the show.
Well, since we are comparing, it's like, which country invented the best fashion style? France or Italy? Let's get started.
Absolutely. And also, if you have any questions or stories about France or Italy, please share them on YouTube. We love reading your comments.
Hello everyone, Mira here. Ready to dive into our next adventure comparing France and Italy? Oh, and Leo's here too, I suppose.
I suppose. Mira? Darling, I'm indispensable. Leo here, ready to dissect safety and crime rates with my usual charm.
More like cynical observation. But that's why we love you, right, listeners? Oh, France versus Italy on general safety and crime rates. Buckle up, folks.
Indeed. We'll be looking at everything from petty theft to, well, hopefully not too much worse. Let's keep it light, shall we? I need coffee for heavy topics.
Speaking of light, I always thought Paris was romantic, but then I heard about the pickpockets. Yikes.
Pickpockets are an art form in Paris. They're practically performance artists. Just keep your wallet close and enjoy the show.
Easy for you to say. I'd probably end up offering them my wallet out of sheer politeness. Oops, I'm too trusting.
That's why you have me around, Mira. I'd yell something sarcastic in French. That usually scares them off.
I wish I could see that on you too. What would you even yell?
Something along the lines of, hey, I know you're trying to rob her, but I have a much funnier routine about terrible croissants.
Okay, you got me there. But seriously, folks, petty crime is a thing in both France and Italy, right?
Absolutely. Tourist hotspots are like buffets for pickpockets. Rome, Florence, Paris, they're all crime hunting grounds.
Even the beautiful cities have a dark side. But are there specific areas we should be extra cautious of?
Train stations are notorious. Also crowded public transport, especially during rush hour. And avoid poorly lit streets late at night. Common sense stuff.
Common sense that I sometimes lack? But what about violent crime? Is that a major concern in either country?
Not generally, no. Violent crime rates are relatively low compared to some other countries. But always be aware of your surroundings.
Good advice. And what about scams? I'm always worried about falling for some elaborate scheme.
Oh, the scams. In Italy, watch out for people offering help with your luggage, then demanding money. And in France, be wary of those friendship bracelets scammers near the Eiffel Tower.
Friendship bracelets, scammers. Ouch. That sounds like my worst nightmare. I'd probably end up buying 10 of them.
That's why I keep telling you to develop a healthy dose of cynicism, Mira. It's a survival skill.
Never. I prefer to live in a world of sunshine and rainbows. Then, but maybe with slightly more wallet security.
Fair enough. So, in summary, both France and Italy are generally safe, but be smart, be aware. And don't trust anyone offering you a free friendship bracelet.
And if you see Leo yelling at a pickpocket in French, be sure to film it and put it on YouTube.
If you upload it to you, to make sure to like it, guys. Who knows? Maybe it'll go viral.
Okay, Leo, shameless self-promotion aside, let's mention our go-to spot for travel planning and comparisons, which is Jet Off AI. They provide detailed safety guides for various locations, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Agreed. Jet Off AI does a great job of providing reliable information. It's like having a super organized travel buddy.
Definitely. Okay, so what are some cultural factors that influence crime rates in France and Italy?
Well, in Italy, there's sometimes a, let's call it, a relaxed attitude towards rules and regulations. That can create opportunities for petty corruption and organized crime.
That sounds a little dark. What about France?
France has its own unique challenges, including social tensions in certain areas, which can sometimes lead to unrest and petty crime.
So, it's not all sunshine and croissants. Wow, who knew? But hey, even with these issues, both countries are amazing destinations, right?
Absolutely. Just be smart, stay safe, and enjoy the incredible culture, food, and history. And maybe learn a few choice phrases in French or Italian to deter potential scanners.
Like, go away, I'm a podcaster. Or maybe, I'm with the comedian.
That should definitely scare them off. All right, Mira, what's next on our list of comparisons?
Up next, political stability. I'm ready to change the topic. Leo, let's dive into political stability and social harmony cause. Let's be real. Nobody wants to move somewhere and end up in a real-life history book chapter. So France first.
France isn't, speaking of history books. France has seen its fair share of revolutions, hasn't it? But these days, it's more about presidential elections and social movements than barricades in the streets. Though, sometimes it does feel like that.
You've got your classic left-right political seesaw. And every election year, everyone's glued to their tea verses like it's the Super Bowl, but with more dramatic pauses and relic pauses and delicate hand gestures. No.
And let's not forget the social harmony angle. France is a melting pot, but sometimes the ingredients simmer a little too intensely, you know. There are debates about national identity, immigration. It is like living with a really big, diverse family. Sometimes everyone gets along. Other times there are arguments about who gets the last croissant.
Croissant, speaking of which, everyone unites over food, right? But seriously, the French are passionate about their culture, their values, and sometimes that passion leads to protests. Whoa! Remember the Galettes Jones?
The Galettes Jones. Yes, that was like a yellow fashion statement meets political outcry. It really highlighted the tensions between urban and rural France, and the feeling that some people are getting left behind. But you've got to admire their commitment to making their voices heard.
And now Italy. And now Italy. Let's see, is Italy more stable or more like a delicious plate of spaghetti wonderfully chaotic? Seriously though, what's the vibe?
Spaghetti chaos is a good way to put it. Italy has a government turnover rate that would make your head spin. It is like they change prime ministers more often than I change my socks. But somehow, they keep chugging along.
Exact. Oh, another government fell. Pass the Chianti. But you know, despite all the political drama, Italians are pretty resilient. They've seen it all before.
No. And when it comes to social harmony, Italy has regional pride dialed up to 11. It is like each region is its own little kingdom with its own dialect, cuisine, and strong opinions about everything.
Ugh, the dialects. It's like learning a new language every couple of hours if you travel around. But the amazing food makes up for the possible social disharmony, right? Ooh, I'm thinking pizza pasta.
Always the food, Mira. But your right food is the great unifier. Everyone loves Italian food, no matter where they're from. And family. Italians are fiercely loyal to their families, and that creates a strong social safety net, even when the government is being, well, Italian.
Speaking of family, that reminds me of a friend who married into an Italian family. Christmas dinner. It's like a 3-act play with multiple courses, passionate debates, and someone inevitably crying. Wow.
Sounds about right. And debates are not just about politics, they are about everything. The best way to make tomato sauce, which football team is superior, you name it. It is like a national sport.
It's a good thing they're so passionate, though. Imagine life without that Italian zest. It would be like a pizza without cheese.
A tragedy? Mira. A tragedy. So, political stability. France is relatively steady, even with the occasional revolution light. Italy? More like a roller coaster. Social harmony? Both countries have their tensions, but also a deep sense of community and cultural pride.
Well, if you're an expat, maybe get ready to embrace a little chaos. Because as they say, when in Rome, roll with the punches. And if you're in France, when in France, have a croissant ready for any potential protest.
Perfect advice, Mira. Because let's be honest, no matter what the political climate, life is never boring in either of those countries.
Are France and Italy, Leo, the land of love, art, and complicated finances. So, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of euros and expenses, shall we?
Indeed, Mira. Forget romantic gondola rides for a second. Let's talk about how much that pasta is really going to cost you. And Leo, by the way, for those just tuning in, ready to slice and dice, the economic realities.
I like it, Leo. Makes it sound like we're preparing a financial gourmet meal. Now France has a pretty solid economy, right? Big industries, lots of opportunities.
Oui, Mademoiselle Mira. France has that je ne sais quoi when it comes to big business, aerospace, automotive, luxury goods. It's a heavyweight. Wow, but that also means the cost of living can be hefty, especially in Paris.
Huh? The city of lights, love, and emptying your bank account faster than you can save, I get. What about Italy, though? Is it all Vespas and sunshine on a shoestring?
Not quite, Mira. Italy has its own charm, but the economy can be a bit, shall we say, dramatic. Oh, North versus South, industry versus agriculture. It's a bit of a mixed bag.
Oh, so what does that mean for the average expat trying to decide where to set up shop and sip their espresso? Is France crazy expensive? Or is Italy secretly a gold mine?
Well, Mira, let's just say that if you're expecting to live like a Medici prince on a barista salary in Italy, you're going to have a bad time. But seriously, France tends to have higher costs across the board, right? Groceries, even that cheeky little taxi de séjour when you visit.
Taxi de séjour? Ouch. Sounds fancy. Italy is generally cheaper, right? Rent in Rome is way less than in Paris, I think.
You've done your homework, Mira. Yes, rent is definitely a big factor. Milan and Rome can be pricey, but venture outside those tourist hotspots, and things become much more reasonable.
But let's consider it from an expat's point of view. I think those wishing to live in France can find a job market, while Italy's more affordable.
Yes, I can say that France has a strong labor market and that Italy can give foreigners a hard time in that sense. But it depends on your sector. And if you learn the language, it gets easier.
Also, if the YouTube audience wants to share their wisdom, they can write their opinion in the comments section. Oh, after all, experiences are diverse, right?
Absolutely, Mira. We love hearing from our amazing viewers. So don't hesitate to share your experiences and insights in the comments below, if you like it.
Let's talk about food. I wonder about costs. Is Italy or France cheaper to have a meal?
This will make our audience laugh. I think having a meal in Italy is cheaper. But both Italy and France offer high-quality options.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I have a question. What about job opportunities? Is France better?
Mira, France is more attractive due to its high growth-related companies and job opportunities. In Italy, it is hard to see that environment.
So, it is very important to consider. I wonder how easy it is to get a visa and work permit.
Yes. As it is known, administrative affairs can be long and challenging, while Italy can be relatively easier. Wow.
France has job opportunities, while Italy has visa for facilities. Interesting. What do you think of this situation? What should people pay attention to?
You have to make a list of priorities. If your priority is a facility, choose Italy. But if your priority is money, choose France.
However, remember to support us and like the video. That way, our Jet-Off AI-powered studio will continue to provide content.
And remember, if you want to continue the analysis, we have articles on our Jet-Off AI site, which you can read and research in detail.
And, let's talk about where people hang their barrels and call home. What's the vibe like in France when finding a place to crash?
Mira, as long as their barrettes don't block the doorway, France has style going for it, but finding a place?
Oh, Paris. A land of love lights. And ridiculously tiny apartments with rents that could fund a small nation.
Tiny is an understatement. You practically need to be a contortionist to live there. But hey, you get a balcony where you can dramatically smoke and contemplate life. Cliché, but true.
Cliché indeed, but so charming. What's the deal beyond Paris? More space or more tiny, but charming.
Well, outside Paris, things get saner space-wise. Think of Provence's big farmhouses, vineyards, though finding them might need a GPS and a bloodhound.
A bloodhound that appreciates good wine, I hope. Speaking of good taste in finding great lodging, are we talking about Italy next?
See, sign or nay, Italy is a different opera. Wow, from the rustic villas in Tuscany to the chic apartments in Milan, the variety is chef's kiss. But be warned, paperwork is a beast.
Paperwork, you say? Whoa! Is it like they make you fill out forms written in ancient Latin while singing opera? Because I'd pay to see that?
It sometimes feels that way. Bureaucracy in Italy is a competitive sport. But once you're through, imagine waking up to a view of the Colosseum. Breathtaking.
That's a view worthy of a spontaneous operatic performance from your balcony. So, France tiny but charming versus Sicily stunning but bureaucratic?
Pretty much. France is the sophisticated, my Italy is the dramatic opera singer. Both worth the ticket, but prepare for the show. Haha! Also, Jet-Off AI is a good place to check all these details and plan the trip.
Perfectly said. I love the dramatic opera singer. But what about quality in the accommodations? Any big differences there?
Oh, definitely. In France, especially older buildings, you might find quirky plumbing or elevators that are older than you are. Ouch. But they have character.
Ah, yes, character. Code for we haven't updated this since the revolution. And Italy?
Italy can be a mixed bag. Wow, some places are stunning, others well. Let's just say rustic charm can sometimes mean slightly crumbling.
Slightly crumbling, you say? As long as the leaning isn't worse than the Tower of Pisa, I think we're still good. So for our viewers on YouTube, let us know in the comments.
True that. And for safety, check the ratings on sites like Jet-Off AI before booking. You want a rustic charm surprise.
Excellent tip. So, when choosing between France and Italy for accommodation, it's all about choosing your flavor of chaos, right?
Exactly. Do you want tiny romance or bureaucratic beauty? The choice, my friend, is yours. But pack your patience either way.
And maybe a toolkit, just in case you need to fix that quirky plumbing or prop up a slightly crumbling wall. Also, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, so you won't miss anything.
That's the spirit.
Let's dive into the bureaucratic fun of moving to France or Italy. Because who doesn't love paperwork, mountains, and endless lines?
Mira, you make it sound like we're signing up for a theme park, not a government office. But yeah, Let's see which country's bureaucracy is more hilariously complex.
Known for its elegance and mountains of paperwork. Getting a visa that can feel like entering a labyrinth designed by Kafka himself.
Right? It's like they want to make sure you really want to live there. Maybe they think the paperwork weeds out the faint of heart.
Are you worthy? The visa application seems to scream. Wow. Finding the right forms is like a treasure hunt where the map is written in ancient French.
And don't even get me started on proving you have enough money to not be a burden on the state. It's like, we want you, but only if you're already rich.
Italy, the land of passion, pasta, and well, also paperwork. It's like they're saying, welcome to Italy. Now prove you deserve to be here with 17 copies of your birth certificate.
Exactly. And each copy must be notarized by a unicorn, or it doesn't count. Okay, maybe not a unicorn, but it feels that way.
And let's not forget the Permesso di Soggiorno, the Italian residence permit. Obtaining that can feel like completing a quest in a medieval fantasy game.
You have to slay the dragon of bureaucracy, then decipher the ancient scrolls of the Italian postal system. Whoa, only then will you be deemed worthy.
Speaking of dragons, the Sportello Unico per Immigration trying to navigate that is a Herculean task. Ouch. It sounds like a place where dreams go to die.
The single desk for immigration is about as single as a Kardashian wedding. It's a maze of offices, each with its own set of rules and opening hours that change depending on the phase of the moon.
Language barrier. Even if you speak some Italian, understanding legal jargon is another level of linguistic Olympics.
True. It's like they have their own secret language invented solely to confuse foreigners. Good luck translating auto-certification.
France isn't innocent in a language game either. Trying to understand administrative French is like trying to decode hieroglyphics while blindfolded.
Seriously, French bureaucracy is a whole different beast. You're not just learning a language, you're learning a code.
And let's talk about getting your documents recognized. It's not enough to have a degree you need to get your equivalence D in France.
Oh yes, the famous equivalence. It's like your diploma needs to pass a French cultural sensitivity test before they accept it.
And in Italy, you have the Determination di Valor. Wow. Every document from your home country needs an Italian seal of approval.
Which requires a visit to the Italian consulate in your home country, which is an adventure in itself, involving travel, fees, and more waiting.
So, which country wins the bureaucratic obstacle course? It's a tough call, like choosing between two equally delicious but impossible to make pastries.
It really is. Both France and Italy have their own unique levels of bureaucratic craziness. It's a matter of personal preference. Do you put the side of Vin Rouge or Vino Rosso?
Maybe we should start a support group for expats dealing with French or Italian bureaucracy. We could call it Bureaucracy Anonymous.
I'd join. We could swap stories of paperwork woes, commiserate over confusing forms, and maybe even start a petition to simplify the process.
If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments which bureaucratic nightmare you have lived or heard.
Yes, share your pain so we can laugh about it. And remember to visit Jetafe for resources and tips to help navigate these administrative jungles.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hilariously informative content. Who knew paperwork could be so entertaining?
Well, we made it entertaining. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And remember, when life gives you bureaucracy, make a podcast.
Okay, Leo. Let's chat about healthcare in France and Italy because nothing says expat adventure like deciphering medical bills in a foreign language.
Exactly, Mira. It's all fun and games until you need to find a doctor who understands that your stomachic is actually an existential crisis.
So, France known for its excellent public healthcare system. They practically invented Shorty Viver and then made sure everyone could afford to enjoy it.
True, but it's not all croissants and roses. France has this thing called carte vitale. That's like the golden ticket to healthcare, but getting it as an expat can be a Herculean task.
Tell me about it. It's like trying to unlock Fort Knox with a baguette. But once you have it, the reimbursement rates are pretty sweet, right?
They are. You pay up front, then get a chunk back. Just don't lose the paperwork. or you'll be filing for bankruptcy over a band-aid.
True. It is all about paperwork, but France does have some great medical facilities. My friend said the hospitals are so clean you could eat off the floor.
Until someone spills their coffee. Oops. But yeah, French healthcare is generally top-notch. Now Italy, land of Boston, picturesque emergencies.
That's so mean. But true. So, in Italy you have Servizio Sanitario Nazionale, or SSN. Basically their version of public healthcare. How does it compare?
Well, it's free-ish. You need to register, get a health card, and then you're mostly covered. The catch: prepare for bureaucracy thicker than marinara sauce.
Bureaucracy, the universal language of expats. So, quality-wise, is Italian healthcare as good as a perfectly cooked risotto?
It depends on where you are. Northern Italy is generally better funded with modern facilities. Down south, let's just say quicker service isn't always the first thing that comes to mind.
So, a bit of a gamble then. Like ordering a pizza and hoping they don't put pineapple on it.
Precisely, and public hospitals can be crowded, so waiting times can be longer than a Godfather movie marathon. Ouch.
Right, so maybe private insurance is the way to go in Italy? More expensive, but hopefully faster and less chaotic.
Definitely an option if you want to avoid the public queues. Plus, you might get a doctor who speaks English, always a bonus when you explain a rare tropical disease you picked up on vacation.
You can't say I feel bad with only gestures, but what about access? Are there enough doctors and hospitals in both countries, especially in rural areas?
France has been struggling with doctor shortages in some rural areas. It's hard to find a GP sometimes, which is a problem if you need regular checkups.
We're trying to find a decent Wi-Fi signal in the countryside. But Italy, how are they doing on the doctor front?
Italy has a good number of doctors overall, but they're not always evenly distributed. Major cities are fine, but smaller towns can be a bit sparse.
Both countries have their quirks and challenges when it comes to healthcare. Is there a clear winner here, or is it more of a pick-your-poison situation?
It really depends on your priorities, Mia. If you value comprehensive public health care and don't mind some paperwork, France might be your jam.
And if you're okay with some regional variation and maybe springing for private insurance, Italy is not so bad either. Am I right?
Exactly. Just remember to pack your patience, a good phrase book, and maybe a stress ball shaped like your favorite anatomical organ. We'll talk more about this on Jet Off AI.
Great advice, Leo. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. So, healthcare a crucial topic for any expat. We hope this podcast helped make it simpler, but you can always find more information on Jet Off AI.
Couldn't agree more. Now, let's grab some coffee and debate which country makes better espresso while we upload this to YouTube.
Bonjour, everyone. Leo, are you ready to zoom into the world of trains, planes, and automobiles? Oh.
Dude, you know I'm always ready to dissect some travel logistics, especially if it involves making fun of something. So, France first. Italy, let's get this show on the road.
Let's start with France, Leo. I think of the TGV high-speed trains, they're like the cheetahs of the railway world. Wow.
True, those TG verses are slick zipping across the country like a caffeinated bag at delivery service. It only has some high-speed action too, but does it have that French flair?
Flair is key, mon ami. But seriously, France's train network is extensive. You can get practically anywhere, from bustling cities to tiny villages.
Yeah, but try navigating some of those smaller stations, Mira. You'll need a phrase book just to figure out where to buy a ticket. It's like a linguistic treasure hunt.
That's part of the adventure, Leo. Besides, even the regional trains in France are usually pretty comfy. What about Italy?
Italy's a bit of a mixed bag. The high-speed trains are great for hitting the big cities Rome, Florence, Milan, but getting around the countryside can be an experience.
An experience? Are we talking charming or stuck on a mountainside for 3 hours waiting for a replacement engine?
Depends on your travel style, Mira. If you like spontaneity and impromptu picnics, then Italian regional trains are your jam. Hey, value punctuality, maybe stick to the Fricciorosa.
How are the roads in France versus Italy? I've heard some horror stories about tiny, winding roads in Italy. Ouch.
Dude, some of those Italian roads make you question your life choices. You're clinging to the side of a cliff, praying your 500 doesn't plunge into the abyss.
Maybe France wins on road quality then. They've got those nice, smooth auto routes, but the toll booth less. Oh.
Ah, yes. The P-age. Prepare to sell a kidney to pay for a road trip across France. Oops. But hey, at least you're driving on well-maintained asphalt while you're going broke.
And what about air travel? I know France has Charles de Gaulle, which is an airport.
Charles de Gaulle, where dreams go to die in baggage claim. But France has lots of regional airports too, making it pretty easy to hop around.
Italy has a decent number of airports too, right? I've flown into Rome and Milan, and they seemed pretty modern. Ugh.
Yeah, but Italian airports can be a bit chaotic, especially during peak season. Wow! Prepare for long lines, confusing signage, and the occasional strike.
Of course. It wouldn't be Italy without a little bit of labor and rest.
Exactly! It adds character, Mira. It's like, welcome to Italy. Your flight might be delayed, but hey, at least the scenery is gorgeous. Ah!
So, basically, France is efficient but expensive, and Italy is charming but chaotic. Did I get that right, Leo?
Pretty much, Mira. If you value smooth, predictable travel, France is your winner. If you're willing to embrace the unexpected, Italy's the place to be.
And as always, remember to check out Jed Alfay for more detailed comparisons and travel tips. We're always here to help make your travel dreams a reality.
Yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Maybe we'll do a whole episode on the best roadside snacks in France and Italy.
Alright, Leo. Let's dive into the melodious muddle that is language barriers in France and Italy. Are we talking bonjour? Can you help me? Versus ciao, Aito, per favor.
Mir, always with the drama. But you're right, language can be a real comedic hurdle for travelers. Think about it, mumbling parlez-vous anglais, only to get a shrug in return.
In France, they have this reputation, justified or not, for being fiercely protective of their language. Do you think it's true? I am curious.
As a comedian, I'd say yes, but with a wig. They love their language and culture fiercely, which is admirable but can be intimidating. It is like I am about to make a joke on their language while they frown a bit.
It's all about that cultural pride. Ooh, what about Italy? Do they greet you with open arms and Italian lessons?
Well, Italians are generally more laid back, I'd say. They are excited to communicate no matter what language you speak. If you throw in a hand gesture, though, you're golden.
Oh, the hand gestures. How could I forget? What do you think happens when they are really angry? Do they get louder and gesture like mad?
Mira, you're killing me. I've seen a couple of videos about it. They just go wild. So you definitely know when things get heated. But seriously, even with limited language skills, Italians are usually very patient.
Patient is good, especially when I'm butchering their beautiful language. Are there any simple phrases you've found particularly useful in either country?
In France, excusez-moi goes a long way. Just start with that and a charming smile, and most people will be willing to help.
Good to know. I'll add that to my arsenal. How about Italy? Anca, per favor.
Bingo! Nothing opens doors like the promise of coffee. Ango. Goes a long way. Italians appreciate good manners.
Manners are important, so keep being polite. What if someone tries to communicate, and they fail badly? Is there a way to avoid offending them or embarrassing yourself?
In France, try starting with a phrase like Je suis d'ici, je ne parle pas bien français. Showing that you are aware of your limitations helps.
Awareness is always appreciated. And in Italy, do you need to kiss them on both cheeks and offer serenade?
Oh, hold your horses, Mir. I would suggest the same. Try SCSI, non parlo molto bene l'italiano. A little self-deprecation can be endearing.
Excellent advice as always. Do you think that the level of English spoken in tourist areas helps at all?
Absolutely. In both countries, you'll find English speakers in tourist hotspots. But venturing off the beaten path is where the real linguistic adventures begin.
The tiny, hidden cafes are where you truly need to charm your way through with broken French or Italian. Are there any funny stories you have about language mishaps?
Oh, I've got tons. Once in France, I tried to order poison but accidentally said something that sounded like poison. The waiter looked horrified. Whoa!
Oh, Leo, that's terrible. I bet you could have turned that into a whole comedic episode. I would enjoy that episode. And what about Italy? Any food-related mishaps there?
Actually, yes. I tried to ask for aqua and water, but I ended up ordering something that, well, let's just say it wasn't water. Whoa.
Some of those language slips can lead to unexpected, if not hilarious, results. What resources do you recommend for learning some basic phrases before traveling?
Apps like Duolingo and Damian Rise are great for picking up the basics, and YouTube is a treasure trove of language lessons. Don't forget to explore Jet Off AI for travel tips too.
Oh yes. If you are planning for a trip, check Jet Off AI and be up to date with language and culture of the country. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube too for more cultural comparisons. If you like it, you can like it.
Indeed. It's a simple click. And don't underestimate the power of travel phrasebook. They're lifesavers when your phone battery dies.
True, nothing beats a good old-fashioned book for that extra level of security. Ooh! Any final thoughts on tackling the language barrier?
Just embrace the awkwardness and have fun with it. Making mistakes is part of the adventure. You will improve as you go along.
Yes, you said it. Learn a little lot. And remember that a smile is universal. Hello everyone. Let's dive into the vibrant world of cultural diversity and tolerance in France and Italy. It's like comparing the giant bowls of pasta sauce, both delicious, but with totally different spices.
Indeed, Mira. As someone who enjoys spotting the absurdities of life, I'm curious country handles its cultural spices with more finesse. But prepare for some sarcastic observations, folks.
Oh, bring it on. Let's start with France. It's historically been a melting pot, with influences from all over Europe, Africa, and Asia. Wow, you stroll through Paris and it feels like you're walking through a world fair.
True, Mira. But let's not forget France also has a history of let's call it vigorous cultural assimilation. It's like saying everyone's welcome, as long as you become thoroughly French.
That's one way to put it, Leo. But in recent years, there's been a real push for social harmony initiatives celebrating different cultures. Think of the Fête de la music everywhere.
Yes, the Fête de la musique, a fantastic way to drown out any dissenting opinions with cheerful noise. Clever. France, clever. What about Italy?
Well, Italy's diversity is more regional, right? Each region feels like its own little country with its own traditions, dialects, and of course, cuisine. Oh, it's like a collection of mini empires glued together with pasta and wine.
True, Mira, but that regionalism can also lead to some spirited debates about who makes the best carbonara.
But hey, at least they're passionate about something. Wow, and Italy has also become increasingly multicultural with immigration from Eastern Europe, Africa, and Asia.
Yes, the new spices added to the Italian sauce. Integration can be challenging though, Mira. Let's not forget the headlines about anti-immigrant sentiment from time to time.
True, Liam. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. But there are also amazing stories of communities coming together and celebrating their differences. Think local festivals with food from all over the world. Ooh.
Now you're talking, Mira. Free food is always a great way to promote tolerance. Try this delicious samosa and let's forget our differences.
You always find a way to bring it back to food, Leo. But seriously, both countries have work to do when it comes to social equality and minority rights.
Absolutely, Mira. Social equality is like a perfectly cooked souffle, looks great on the outside, but can collapse at any moment. We need more than just surface-level tolerance.
Exactly. It's about creating a society where everyone feels valued and respected, no matter their background or beliefs. That's the real challenge, wow.
You're right, Mira. Now, if you'll excuse me, all this talk about cultural diversity has made me hungry. I'm off to find the most absurdly fusion restaurant I can find.
That's all, Leo. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more witty insights. Oh, and if you have any thoughts on cultural diversity in France and Italy, share them in the comments. Also, be sure to visit Jet Cafe for more information. Bye for now. So, shall we chat about France and Italy when it comes to hitting the books and learning new languages? Oh!
CC Mira, let's dive in. France, Italy, land of art, romance, and excellent education systems? Or at least, that's what they tell us in the brochures.
France has a fantastic reputation, especially for its philosophy and arts programs. Plus, their literacy rate is super high. But let's be honest, trying to understand a French philosopher can sometimes feel like you're decoding an alien language anyway.
True, you need a PhD in understanding the elegantly confusing just to get through Sartre. But Italy, yes, no slouch either. Their universities have been around since, like, the Roman Empire, right?
Places like the University of Bologna have serious historical vibes. Imagine studying law where they practically invented it. Wow. But do they teach you how to dramatically just I see you late while arguing a point? Because that's a key alien skill.
Just I color, an art form, AO language also. They should offer courses Advanced Hand Talking 101. It's sign up, but France has those brands equals, right? Super selective, super prestigious, basically Hogwarts for intellectuals.
Pretty much. Places like École Normale Supérieure are legendary. Getting in is like winning the lottery while solving a Rubik's Cube. Wow! Are they teaching students how to properly pair wine with every cheese imaginable? Because that's a crucial French education.
Now that's a curriculum I can get behind. Wine and cheese pairing is a core competency. But let's not forget about learning the languages themselves. Which country is better for diving into the local lingo?
Well, France has Alliance Française all over the world, so it's pretty easy to find a course wherever you are. But French pronunciation? Mon Dieu! Trying to say squirrel in French is a true test of patience. Ouch!
Heard it said it's a beautiful language to listen to and a nightmare to speak. As for Italian, it's supposed to be easier for English speakers, right? Plus, singing opera counts as language practice, doesn't it?
I wish. Nessun Dorma is a study method. I'm in. But seriously, Italy's got tons of language schools in gorgeous locations. Imagine learning Italian in Florence, surrounded by Renaissance art and delicious gelato. Ooh.
Gelato-fueled learning. Now that's what I call a sweet deal. Speaking of sweetness, did you know Italy boasts innovative teaching methods? Things like focusing on conversation from day one.
Oh, absolutely. Italy emphasizes getting huge chatting right away, which is fantastic. Are they teaching people how to properly argue about football with unwavering passion? Because that's a quintessential Italian experience.
Argumentative football fanaticism 101 could be a very popular elective. On the French side, their system might be more structured, maybe even a tad rigid.
French educational system can feel a bit formal and hierarchical. It's great for discipline, but sometimes you just want to be able to ask why, without feeling like you're questioning the universe. What?
Touche. So, France emphasizes theoretical mastery, while Italy seems more about practical application and looking fabulous while doing it. It's a tough call.
It really is. Both countries offer incredible opportunities, but hey, if you're still on the fence, why not check out Jet Cafe? They've got a ton of resources and comparisons to help you decide which country's academic scene is the best fit for you.
Excellent point, Mira. Jet Off AI will sort you out. And hey, while you're browsing, leave us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We'll keep bringing you the comparisons and the laughs.
So, whether you dream of debating philosophy in Paris, or mastering Italian while eating pasta in Rome, both France and Italy have amazing educational opportunities waiting for you.
Agreed. Just remember to pack your phrase book, your sense of humor, and your appetite. You'll need all three. Ciao and au revoir, everyone.
Well, Leo, let's dive into the weather. Shall we? France and Italy, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, is it? I mean, both are in Europe, but they're not weather twins.
Weather twins. More like distant cousins who argue over the thermostat, Mira. France, with its coastline and mountains, is a meteorological smorgasbord compared to Italy's boot-shaped climate zone.
Oh, smorgasbord is a great word. So France offers a little something for everyone, right? Think mild winters in Brittany, scorching summers in the south, and those unpredictable springs in Paris. Wow, perfect for Instagram. But maybe not for consistent picnics.
Picnics in Paris, a delightful but risky affair. Italy, on the other hand, mostly sticks to Mediterranean rules. Expect hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. Whoa, though, the Alps might beg to differ.
The Alps always have to be different, don't they? Speaking of extreme weather, I've heard France gets some pretty wild Atlantic storms. Ouch! Does that mean more dramatic YouTube videos of people battling umbrellas? Ooh.
YouTube's gonna be full of such videos. And about Italy. The occasional Sirocco wind blowing up from the Sahara bringing dust and heat to Sicily. Now that's what I call dramatic. Whoa, imagine sipping your espresso with a side of sand.
Espresso and sand, a unique flavor combo. I'll pass. But seriously, how do the locals cope with all this weather craziness? Do they have special rain ounces or something?
I can't say about the rained answers. What I can say is local adaptations are all about that dolce vita spirit, Mira. Siesta S in summer to avoid the midday sun. Layered clothing for those unpredictable winters. They've mastered the art of living in harmony with Mother Nature mostly by ignoring her when she gets too dramatic.
Ignoring Mother Nature? Bold move. In France, I bet they just shrug and say, "C'est la vie." Ooh, then complain about it over a glass of wine. Am I right?
C'est la vie, c'est la pluie. Whoa, probably why they invented the trench coat to stylishly endure the drizzle. What would be the local adaptation in southern France?
In southern France. It's all about those shutters and stone houses. Keeping cool in summer is serious business. Maybe they should export that technology to California.
The classic shutters and stone, the original air conditioning. Wow, clever move of those French ancestors. But listen this, Mira, have you ever noticed how the weather just knows when you've made outdoor plans? Like it's personally offended.
It's like the universe is saying, "Oh, you want to enjoy a sunny day? Think again." That's why I always stack an umbrella, even if the forecast is clear. Call it my insurance policy against meteorological mayhem. Well,
I'm so going to steal that insurance policy against meteorological mayhem line. That is material for my stand-up shows. I will be sure to give you the royalties for the ticket sales. But do you think weather has shaped the culture and lifestyle?
it's the culture and lifestyle, Leo. Think about those outdoor cafes in Paris, the vineyards in Bordeaux. The beaches are nice. France is practically built on its climate. What about in Italy?
Definitely. How about the ski resorts of the Alps, the olive groves in Tuscany, the beaches of Sardinia? Italy's culture is like a fine wine, aged to perfection by the sun and sea. And not forgetting to mention a good plate of lasagna as the rain falls.
Woo, lasagna in the rain. Sounds like a rom-com scene, not gonna lie. Well, should we move on to our next point? Bonjour, Leo. Oh, are you ready to compare the gastronomic landscapes of France and Italy? I can already smell the croissants and fresh pasta.
Bonjour to you too, Mira. Croissants and pasta. Seriously. Sounds like carb overload to me. But yeah, let's dive in. I'm ready to dissect this culinary clash with my usual subtlety.
Oh, I'm sure your subtlety will be on full display. Let's start with culinary heritage. France is all about haute cuisine, right? Michelin stars, oh wow.
Michelin stars, yes, but also a lot of let's pretend this simple dish is complicated. Italy, on the other hand, is about simple ingredients done exceptionally well. Think Nana's cooking, not some fancy chef's ego trip.
Nana's cooking. I love it. Ooh, but you can't deny the French know how to make a sauce. Bernays Hollandaise, they elevate everything.
Elevate? Or bury under butter? Italians prefer letting the ingredients speak for themselves. Fresh tomatoes, basil, olive oil, perfection. It's all about Getafe, you see.
Speaking of fresh, what about dietary diversity? I think both countries do pretty well with their regional specialties, right?
Regionally, sure, but both have varying carb dependency issues. Whoa, let's be honest, finding a low-carb meal in either place can feel like searching for a unicorn.
A carb unicorn. I love it. But surely they have innovative food solutions too. Like, what about the rise of veganism? Are the French and the aliens keeping up?
Keeping up slowly. You'll find vegan options, sure, but expect a bit of why would you ruin a perfectly good dish with vegetables? Attitude? Sarcasm aside, they're trying. Getafe also covers some of those options.
Ruin it with vegetables. Oh, Leo, you're incorrigible. Well, at least we have plenty to laugh about while we explore this delicious topic. Oh.
Exactly. We're like those culinary detectives trying to figure out what those tasty meals mean. And hey, if anyone has a suggestion for a low-carb restaurant in Paris or Rome, drop it in the YouTube comments. Wow, please, save me from the pasta.
Please, if you like it, you can like it. We want to hear from you.
If we help, that will be awesome, and if we make you laugh, well, that's also amazing. But we need your comments on YouTube to keep us going. We are waiting for it.
Our current topic, we compare the historical, cultural, and artistic values of two countries. From ancient landmarks to thriving art scenes and deep-rooted traditions. Wow! It's like choosing between a Barrett and a gondola, isn't it?
Yeah, you always manage to turn history into a fashion statement. A Barrett versus a gondola. I'm picturing you trying to row with a baguette now. But seriously, we're talking about titans of culture here.
A baguette or... that's going in my next sketch. But yes, France and Italy both using art from every cobblestone. Speaking of which, have you ever tripped dramatically in front of the Louvre? It's practically a rite of passage.
Only nearly tripped, but I did manage to spill coffee on my guidebook. Now that's modern art, mere coffee stains on the Mona Lisa's distant cousin. But, hey, if we're talking art, France starts strong with the Louvre, Versailles.
I once tried to wear a hoop skirt there, big mistake. Couldn't fit through the doors. Talk about historical irony. Wow. I mean, come on, what's more romantic than a giant metal triangle?
A giant metal triangle with a gift shop, Mira. But Italy has its own architectural heavy hitters, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum. I always imagine gladiators complaining about their commute in ancient Rome.
Another chariot tailgating me on the Appian Way. But Italy doesn't stop at ancient history. The Renaissance, Michelangelo, Da Vinci. It's like they cornered the market on genius. Ew.
Genius with a side of political intrigue. The Borgias, the Medicis, those guys made reality TV look like a church picnic. Still, you can't deny the artistic explosion. The Sistine Chapel, breathtaking.
Breathtaking until you get a crick in your neck. But totally worth it. Wow. Though France's Impressionism, Monet, Renoir, so dreamy and rebellious at the time.
Rebellious with pastels. But Italy also birthed the Baroque's Albernini Caravaggio, so dramatic you half expect the statues to start arguing with each other.
Oh, not this again. David. But France has the literary scene to Hugo, Voltaire, Camus. Deep thoughts with a side of existential angst.
And Italy has Dante, Petrarch, Boccaccio, lyrical geniuses who practically invented the sonnet. Though I always wondered if Dante's Inferno was just his commute in Florence during rush hour.
Sounds like my personal version of hell. but France's contribution to fashion? Chanel, Dior, Saint Laurent. They practically invented chic.
While Italy has Gucci, Prada, Versace, designers who turned luxury into an art form. I once saw a woman in Milan wearing a dress that probably cost more than my apartment.
I saw a dog in Paris wearing a better outfit than me once. True story, but the French New Wave cinema, true style Godard, so stylish and groundbreaking.
While Italy gave us Fellini, Di Sica, and Tamini, filmmakers who made cinematic poetry. I still can't figure out what some of those films were about, but they looked amazing. Oh.
Sometimes I think they were just messing with us. But French cuisine, escargots, truffles, macarons, so fancy and delicious.
And Italian cuisine. Pasta, pizza, risotto. So comforting and satisfying. Ah, I could live on a diet of just pasta and not complain. Although maybe my doctor would.
Ow, I'd happily risk it. Wow, so which country wins the historical, cultural, and artistic showdown? It's impossible to say, isn't it? They're both just so incredible.
Is that going to pick a favorite star in the night sky? They both shine so brightly in their own unique way, creating a constellation of artistic brilliance. Each country has shaped our world so profoundly. If you like it on YouTube, Genofe also has similar content.
Today, we're diving head first into the gorgeous landscapes of France and Italy. Ready for a scenic tour, Leah? Oh.
Always, Mira, especially when it involves armchair rabble. Saves on the plane tickets, you know?
Well, France is like a giant postcard, right? You've got the lavender fields of Provence, the dramatic cliffs of Normandy, and of course the majestic Alps. Wow. It's like Mother Nature went wild with a paintbrush.
True, but don't forget the Pyrenees. Those mountains are seriously underrated, rugged, wild, and way less crowded than the Alps. Plus, you can almost smell the freedom from there.
Oh, good point. And speaking of smells, the fragrant vineyards of Bordeaux, it's not just a treat for the taste buds, but for the eyes too. You can almost taste the wine just by looking at the scenery. Whoa.
Bordeaux, you say? Wine is good, but have you seen the Dolomites in Italy? Jagged peaks, turquoise lakes, they look like something straight out of a fantasy novel. It's basically nature's heavy metal concert.
That's a tough act to follow. But what about the French Riviera? Sun-kissed beaches, glamorous yachts, and that azure water. You can feel like a movie star just strolling along the shore.
Okay. The French Riviera is dazzling. But the Amalfi Coast in Italy? It's like the French Riviera, but with more character, more history, and way more lemon groves. Plus, you can eat the best pasta in the world there.
True, Italian food is hard to beat. But France has the come on. Wild white horses, pink flamingos, and vast salt marshes. It's like stepping into a wildlife documentary. Plus, the horses are so cute.
Flamingos are cool, but have you seen the Cinque Terre in Italy? Those colorful villages clinging to the cliffs. It's like a postcard come to life, especially at sunset. Makes you want to sell everything and move there.
Well, since you mentioned islands, what about Corsica? Rugged mountains, pristine beaches, and that wild, untamed beauty. It's like a little piece of paradise in the Mediterranean. You can just feel the freedom there.
Corsica's nice, but Sicily, Mira. Sicily has everything. Volcanoes, ancient ruins, stunning beaches, and the best cannoli on the planet. It's like Italy's greatest hits album.
Canary a good butt. France also has the Loire Valley, rolling hills, fairy tale castles, and those tranquil rivers. It's like stepping into a storybook. Plus, the gardens are amazing.
Castles are charming, but have you seen the Italian lakes? Como Garda, Maggie, those shimmering waters surrounded by mountains and villas? It's like a romantic dream come true. Perfect for a gondola ride.
Gondolas are pretty romantic. But France has the Verdon Gorge, turquoise waters carving through towering cliffs. It's like the Grand Canyon, but with a French accent. Wow, It's perfect for kayaking or rock climbing.
Verdun Gorge is impressive, but have you heard of Mount Etna in Italy? It's an active volcano. You can hike it carefully, of course, ski it in the winter, and even taste wine made from its volcanic soil. Where else can you do that?
I guess both countries are full of stunning surprises. From lavender fields to volcanoes. What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for, friends? Pack your bags.
All right, Leo. Let's dive into sports, activity, and adventure. France versus Italy. Think croissants versus cannoli, but make it athletic.
Croissants versus cannoli is already a winning topic in my book, Mira, but fine, sports it is. I'm picturing Barretts and bicycles in France. Am I close?
You're on the right track, Monsieur Comedian. France is huge on cycling. The Tour de France is practically a national holiday. But they're also serious about rugby and, of course, le football.
Le football, eh? I think Italy might have something to say about that. They're pretty passionate about their calcio, and those tifosi are intense.
Intense is an understatement. But France also has some incredible hiking in the Alps and Pyrenees, plus skiing in winter. They really embrace the outdoorsy life.
Hiking, skiing. Nice. Italy has the Dolomites for some epic mountain adventures, plus tons of coastline for sailing, windsurfing, and pretending you're in a Fellini film.
Pretending you're in a Fellini film should be an Olympic sport, Leo. But seriously, France also has some amazing surfing spots on the Atlantic coast. You could catch some serious waves there.
Surfing? Didn't see that coming. Still, Italy's got a win for water stops. Lake Como, the Amalfi Coast. You can't beat that scenery while you're jet skiing or dramatically rowing out. Ha ha!
Dramatic rowing should be another Olympic sport. But let's not forget that France has some pretty serious rock climbing locations too. The gorgeous du Verdon are legendary. Wow.
Okay, the French are bringing the heat in climbing, but Italy also has some insane Via Ferrata's iron path climbing routes in the Dolomites. Those things are not for the faint of heart. Whoa.
Via Ferrata sound terrifying but cool. What about something a little more relaxed? Like Katang? It's basically the national sport of chilling in France.
Chilling is a sport I can get behind, but Italy has its own version, Bocce, which is equally serious or maybe even more dramatic, especially if there's wine involved.
Everything is more dramatic with wine involved, Leo. But if we're talking about active lifestyles in general, France has those beautiful parks and Paris for jogging and picnicking. Ooh!
Okay, parks are nice, but Italy has Vespa culture. Zipping around Rome on a Vespa, that's not just transport, it's an adventure. It's practically a sport.
A sport of dodging tourists and eating gelato simultaneously. Both countries seem to offer a good mix of relaxation and adrenaline.
Exactly. Whether you're into intense athletic pursuits or just want to sip wine and watch other people play bocce, France and Italy have you covered.
Whether you're climbing Mont Blanc or just trying to stay upright on a Vespa, both France and Italy offer some amazing experiences. If you like this podcast, press like and subscribe. You may also visit Jet Off AI, where we discuss the most important information in this context.
What Mira say? And if you happen to wipe out spectacularly on a Vespa while eating gelato, please send us the video. For comedic research purposes, of course.
France and Italy, two countries practically synonymous with a good time. Let's dive into the nightlife, shall we?
Synonymous, Mira? All right. I'm picturing myself sipping espresso all day so that I'm ready for the night, rather than needing a nap.
In France, Paris is always a good starting point and has some legendary clubs like Rex Club and Concrete. Well, used to be Concrete.
Oh yeah, Concrete's gone, huh? Oh yeah. Shows how often I make it out these days, more like I'm turning into Concrete myself. Paris is a must though.
But France isn't just Paris. You have nice Marseille. Places along the French Riviera just buzzing with summer vibes.
True, but let's not forget Italy. Rome has its cool spots, but Milan thinks it's Paris, but it brings its own kind of swagger to the club scene. Ooh.
Oh, you're right about Milan. I felt so fabulous just walking down the streets there. even if I was just going to grab gelato.
See? That's the Milan effect. Everything just feels a little bit more. More stylish, more expensive, more likely to get your picture taken by a fashion blogger.
But let's be real, it's not just about clubs, right? What about theaters? The Moulin Rouge in Paris is iconic, even if it's super touristy.
Touristy but missable. It's like going to see the Mona Lisa, you have to do it once just to say you did. In Italy, though, I'm all about the opera houses. Well,
Oh, Italian d'Opera, a classic combination. La Scala in Milan or Teatro di San Carlo in Naples. There's nothing like seeing a performance in those venues. Wow.
it's like stepping back in time, you know? France has its theaters, definitely, but Italy just breathes opera and music you can't deny.
Okay, I give you that. What about smaller, more intimate venues though? The kind of places where you discover up-and-coming artists.
France has that covered. Loads of cozy just clubs in Paris or little concert halls in Lyon. You'll hear live music any night of the week. Oh!
Italy has those tiny enoteca-esque bars where musicians jam into the early morning. Such energy.
Good point. Italy might be the place for opera, but both countries kill it in the stumbling into live music by accident department.
Speaking of accidentally stumbling, what about festivals? Do you have a favorite mishap festival?
The Cannes Film Festival was almost accidentally stumbling. Whoa! Picture yourself the glamour, celebrities and then... Oh, crap. Did I spill my coffee on George Clooney?
Frassic. France definitely brings the glitz. Italy has the Venice Film Festival, also super fancy but has a different vibe.
Agreed. Less Hollywood and more European art house meets gondolas. Ah! In Italy, even the commute to a film festival is gorgeous.
What do you like most, Leo, from both countries?
I'm just thinking how it all ties together. A fancy nightclub, an old opera house, a small bar in Rome. Those places have a story to tell.
They really do. In France, every venue feels like a little piece of history. In Italy, they're as fun and vibrant as an old memory. Wow.
Well said. Maybe our listeners should just flip a coin. France or Italy? Either way, you're in for a fantastic night.
And if you can't decide, check out Jet Off-A. I for even more ideas and inspiration.
So I saved that we've enjoyed for that. Exactly. From local tips to hidden gems, Jet Off AI has everything you need to plan the perfect trip. And maybe even spill coffee on a celebrity or two.
So wherever you decide to go, remember to enjoy your surroundings and to enjoy yourself. And when you upload photos of your trip to YouTube, don't forget to tag us.
And if you like this podcast, don't forget to follow us and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.
Alright, Leah. Let's dive into friendly environments and children's activities in France and Italy. Think less Louvre, more toddler-friendly zones.
Sounds good, Mira. Though, let's be honest, even the Louvre could be toddler-friendly if you just let them run wild and treat it like a giant art obstacle course. Whoa, but yeah, where do we even start comparing the family fun?
France definitely boasts some iconic parks, like the Jardin du Luxembourg in Paris. They've got puppet shows, carousels, little boats to rent. It's practically a kid's dream come true.
True that, Mira. But Italy's not slacking in the green space department. Villa Borghese in Rome is massive. You could lose a whole family in there for a weekend, just find them happily picnicking near a random fountain.
And don't forget the French countryside. So many charming little villages with playgrounds, farms, and animals for the kids to adore. It's like stepping into a storybook.
Italy counters with Tuscany, Mira. Rolling hills, vineyards okay, maybe not directly kid-focused, but imagine them chasing fireflies at dusk. Pretty magical, right?
Speaking of magic, Disneyland Paris is a HUGE draw for families. It's like, okay, we're in France, but also, we're in a land of pure fantasy.
Italy-esque Gardaland, which is no slouch either. It's got its own charm, a bit more rustic maybe, but definitely delivers the thrills and spills.
Now let's think about museums. The Site of Sciences at the L Industrie in Paris is incredible. Interactive exhibits, planetariums, it's like education disguised as fun.
Italy's got the Museo dei Bambini in Rome. It's designed specifically for kids. Hands-on exhibits, learning through play, it's a genius concept.
But what about food, Leo? France definitely caters to kids with simpler dishes and even some special kids menus. Think steak hot frites, a fancy way of saying burger and fries.
Italy, Mira, has pasta paradise. Every kid loves pasta. Plus pizza. Need I say more? It's like instantly kid approved. Yum. Oh!
Also, the French love their crepes and macarons. Are those also very popular with the kids? These are tasty treats that will make them very happy.
Okay, Mira, Italy has gelato. I feel like that pretty much trumps all other dessert arguments.
Don't forget about the ease of traveling with kids. France is pretty well organized for families with good public transportation and facilities.
Italy can be a little more chaotic, but there's something charming about that chaos, right? Plus, Italians love kids. They'll pinch their cheeks and give them extra attention. It's endearing.
Overall, both countries seem to have different ways of welcoming families and making sure the kids are having a great time. I love it.
Agreed, Mira. France offers structured fun, while Italy offers a more free-spirited adventure. It really comes down to what your family prefers, I think. Wow.
Now, who's up for some steak hot frites and some gelato? That's my kind of cultural exchange. Alright, Leo. Let's dive into something colorful LGBT. I'm already picturing fabulous outfits. We're talking inclusivity, legal protections, and social acceptance. It's not just about the legal stuff, but how people actually feel, you know.
Indeed, Mira. Legal frameworks are essential, but the genuine acceptance in cafes and on the streets is what really matters. Is it just a performance, or is there real welcoming behind it? Let's see if the land of romance and the home of haute couture are truly open to everyone. I'll crack a joke if they aren't, haha.
They've had same-sex marriage since 2013. Wow. Plus, laws against discrimination are pretty solid. You can't just go around being a bigot and expect to get away with it. Equality is trash chic. But what about the vibe, Leo?
The vibe, you say? Well, Paris is famously tolerant and has a big LGBT scene in Le Marais. Bars, clubs, the whole shebang. You can stroll hand in hand with your honey and not get side-eye. Most of the time, but most is more than just Paris.
True. What about the rest of France? Do smaller towns get with the program, or are they still stuck in, like, 1800? Are they still judging what someone is eating and sleeping with?
Well, France is still France. You might find some more conservative views outside the major cities. The further you get from the Eiffel Tower, the stickier situations might become. It's not all rainbows and croissants, sadly.
They switching gears to Italy. Now, they don't have same-sex marriage, right? It's more of a civil union situation. It is always so complicated. It shouldn't be too much to sleep with someone you want. What is it? Whoa, what is it?
Right. Civil union since 2016, which offers some rights, but it's not quite the full Monty of marriage. Still a step in the right direction, but they're not fully there yet. Wonder what is their deal.
Legally, Italy's playing catch-you. But what about the social scene? Rome? Milan? Are they serving up acceptance with their pasta, or what? And I can't even live with the thoughts of the opposite. I might die. Oh. Whoa.
Milan is pretty progressive, especially around Porta Venezia. You'll find LGBT bars and clubs aplenty. Rome has its spots too, but maybe a tad less in your face. Still, it's Italy, can always find a good party. A good pasta can always go with a good laugh.
Does Nana still clutch her pearls if she sees two fellas holding hands? Do they still point fingers and be all mysterious and silent? We've got to protect these beautiful souls.
In some of the more rural areas, yeah, things can be a bit old school. The Pope's backyard isn't always the most avant-garde place, you know. The closer you get to the Vatican, the more side eyes people start giving.
Come on, people. Can't we all just love who we want without getting the third degree? Oh well, let's bring it back to France versus Italy then. If you had to pick one for LGBT folks to visit or even live in, which one gets the gold star?
It depends on what you're after. France has better legal protections and maybe a slightly more consistent level of acceptance across the country. But Italy has a certain charm, and the progressive cities are pretty darn welcoming. I pick based on personal taste and deserves better coffee.
Oh, coffee snob. I will pick it for you, baby. So, it's a tough call, huh? Both have their pluses and minuses, but ultimately, we're hoping both countries keep moving toward full equality and acceptance. Wouldn't that be magnifique indeedlissima? Ooh.
Absolutely. More love, fewer labels, more less. And hopefully, more open-minded non-NAS. All right to stand up on that well. And remember, folks, if you enjoy podcasts like this, find some unshut off AI.
All right, Leo. Let's chat about hospitality and how France and Italy treat our lovely foreigners. Ooh, I'm excited to hear your sarcastic take on this.
Mira always with the lovely foreigner's stick. But sure, let's dive into the land of baguettes and the land of pasta. Are they welcoming, or just tolerating us tourists?
Oh, come on, Leo. They're charming. Think cozy French cafes where the waiters are secretly judging your Barrett, or their sweet Italian grandmas offering you endless pasta. Well,
Grandma's offering pasta now, that's hospitality. But let's be real, sometimes I feel like I'm committing a culinary crime just by asking for ketchup in Italy.
true, but that's just passion, Leo. In France, they might raise an eyebrow if your French isn't perfect, but they appreciate the effort. Bonjour, madame. Well, instant charm points.
Yeah, until you butcher the pronunciation and they correct you with a sigh. Ouch! I've been there, feeling like a linguistic barbarian. But I guess that's better than being ignored, right?
Exactly. It's like a quirky dance. Overall, the French are helpful once you break through the initial coolness. Ah, ever had a Persian give you spot on directions with a dramatic hand gesture?
Oh, absolutely. That hand gesture probably meant, you idiot, it's right there. But hey, at least they engaged. Seriously though, I found Persians to be pretty helpful once they realize you're not just another self-aistic wielding tourist.
And Italy is all about that sunny, warm vibe. You'll be invited for a coffee, a chat, even a family dinner. Ooh, just prepare for lots of hand gestures and passionate opinions.
Hand gestures are key. If you can't speak Italian, just flail your arms wildly and hope for the best. It worked for me. But yeah, Italians are generally super welcoming, especially if you show an appreciation for their food and culture.
Offering someone a taste of your homemade tiramisu? That's practically a national sport. Or in France, sharing a baguette and cheese by the Seine. It's the epitome of friendliness.
True, food is a universal language. But sometimes the sheer volume of food offered in Italy is overwhelming. No, I can't possibly eat another plate of pasta. Famous last words.
Oh, but you must. It's an insult to refuse non-NAS cooking. It's a test of your love and stomach capacity. If you pass, you become an honorary Italian.
More like a food coma survivor, but I digress. Both countries have their charms. France is like that sophisticated friend who's hard to impress, and Italy is that boisterous relative who always wants to feed you.
France will judge your wine choices. Italy will just refill your glass with unforgettable experiences. Ah,
All right. I'll give them both points for hospitality, albeit in very different styles. But hey, if you want brutally honest travel advice, check out Gen Off AI. We'll tell you which country is more likely to steal your heart.
yeah. You're incorrigible. But Jet Alfay really does have great info on everything, though. And if you are on YouTube watching this, please hit that like button if you agree. We are really keen to know what you think. Wow.
Exactly. Like, subscribe, and tell us which country you think is more welcoming. Just don't blame us if you end up gaining 10 pounds from all the pasta. Oops.
Agreed. Whether it's the elegant reserve of France or the exuberant warmth of Italy, both countries have something special to offer to every traveler. Au revoir de revoir. Lovely listeners.
And remember, when in doubt, just smile and say bonjour, ciao. See you next time, folks.
Okay, let's chat about how wired France and Italy are, shall we? It's not all about croissants and pasta. There's the digital world too.
Absolutely, Mira. So, France versus Italy in the internet arena. Who's got the faster Wi-Fi to upload all those vacation photos?
Well, France has been pushing hard on its fiber optic network. They're aiming for super fast broadband pretty much everywhere. It's all part of their France Dress Hot Did It plan. Wow.
True. But Italy is catching up, right? They've had a bit of a slower start, but they're investing heavily in upgrading their infrastructure too, especially with EU recovery funds.
And you know, in France, you can often find free Wi-Fi hotspots in cafes and public spaces, which is super handy for tourists like me. Though.
Italy has got that covered too, though maybe not quite as widespread. But hey, who needs Wi-Fi when you're surrounded by ancient ruins and delicious gelato?
Good point, Leo. Though posting that gelato pic to Instagram requires some internet, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Speaking of which, France has a thriving tech scene, especially in Paris.
Paris, the city of lights and now, the city of lightning fast downloads. But Italy has some cool tech hubs too, like Milan and Turin. They're definitely not slouches.
True, and the French are quite keen on digital services for government stuff too. Makes life easier, less paperwork, more time for cheese.
Mais oui, the Italians are also improving their digital services, trying to cut through the famous Italian bureaucracy. Though, honestly, I think that's half the fun of visiting Italy.
You're terrible. Still, both countries have come a long way. Remember when downloading a movie took like a whole day? Wow.
Those were the dark ages, Mira. Now we can stream movies on our phones while riding a Vespa through Rome. Talk about progress.
So, what's your take, Leo? France or Italy? Who wins the digital race? It's a tough call.
It is. France is maybe a bit further ahead right now with its super fast broadband rollout, but Italy is definitely hot on its heels, and let's face it, sometimes a slightly slower internet speed is worth it for the Italian lifestyle, right?
You always know how to twist things, Leo. Maybe that's the charm.
Gotta keep things interesting, Mira. Now, since we're talking tech, did you know JetOff.ai is also a great resource for travel planning and comparing destinations digitally?
It's a digital world, and JetOff.ai is helping travelers navigate it. Speaking of which, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And let us know in the comments, what are your experiences with the internet in France and Italy?
Yeah, tell us. Did your Netflix binge work?
Hello everyone. Let's dive into a new topic, which is shopping opportunities and price-performance balance in France and Italy. It's like comparing croissants with cannoli, both delicious, but totally different experiences.
Mira, you always make me hungry. Shopping. Mira, it's not usually my thing, but I know enough to say friend Italy means well. Also looking fabulous, but maybe with less damage to the wallet.
Exactly, Leo. Nutritional. Wow. Working down mit Shamslechen. Let's be real. But price-performance ratio can be that's a bit steep for the
Steep. It's like paying for the Mona Lisa, but getting a slightly smudged print. Ouch. Italy, though, has its own high-end scene with Gucci, Prada, and Armani. But let's not forget the smaller boutiques and outlets where you can find amazing quality without needing to sell your car.
True. Italy balances it well. In cities like Milan and Florence, you'll find high fashion, but also fantastic leather goods and shoes at more reasonable prices. Plus, Italian markets are treasure trove for unique finds and delicious food items.
Italian markets too? They're like a chaotic opera of scents, sounds, and You can haggle for the best prices on everything from cheese to scones, whereas in France, trying to bargain at a Chanel store might get you escorted out by security. Whoa!
But you're right. Haggling isn't really a thing in French luxury boutiques. But France does offer great value in other areas like cosmetics and perfumes, which are often cheaper than in other countries.
Ah, yes. The French pharmacy is a magical place. You can stock up on amazing skincare products that won't break the bank. And let's not forget the wine. France has fantastic, affordable wines if you know where to look.
Indeed, France and Italy both offer incredible shopping experiences, but with different approaches to price and value. Wow, if you're after pure luxury and status, France might be your pick.
But if you want to mix of high-end and affordable with a side of chaotic market fun, Italy's where it's at.
Do you guys agree with us? Oh, don't forget to share this podcast on YouTube with your friends and write to us about which one suits you best.
Exactly. And if you're looking for more travel tips and info, check out Jet AI. They've got great resources to help you plan your next shopping spree, whether it is in France.
A little click will be enough to support us. After all, where do you think we get the budget to try all those clothes?
Remember, folks, a well-dressed traveler is a happy traveler. So, whether you're rocking Frenchy Cornelian flair, enjoy the shopping adventure.
Thanks for joining us today. Let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
And remember, life's too short to wear boring clothes. Oh, see you in the next episode, where we will try to find new shopping places to try.
Cultural events, festivals, and concerts the spice of life. Wouldn't you say, Leo? Oh, I mean, what's a trip without a little local flavor?
Indeed, Mira, but sometimes I feel overwhelmed. So many choices, so little time to be sarcastic about them. Which country hosts a better party, though? That's the real question.
I mean, hello, Cannes Film Festival. Why, it's all about glamour celebrities and ridiculously long titles for art house movies.
Cannes is great, but Italy has the Venice Film Festival. It is just as glamorous, but with a little more gondola. You can argue with the gondola, Mira, right?
Gondolas are cute. But France also has Bastille Day. The fireworks, the military parade. It's a full-blown national celebration.
Italy has Carnevale. Mira? Whoa! Masks, costumes, and a whole lot of confetti. Now that's a party. Plus, you get to hide your identity and do questionable things.
Questionable things? Leo, are you planning a trip? France also has some amazing music festivals, like Rock Insane. It is super cool.
Italy has the Verona Opera Festival. Wow! Seeing an opera at a Roman amphitheater? That's an experience you won't forget, trust me.
France is home to some incredible jazz festivals too. Like Jazz One. Imagine listening to some smooth jazz by the French Riviera.
That's nice, but Italy has Umbria jazz. You can eat amazing food and listen to jazz. Come on, what's not to like?
All right. Italy's food scene is top-notch, but France has a festival for everything. The Fête de la Musique, a musical celebration that brings people together. The music is nice.
Well, Mira, Italy has the Palio di Siena, a crazy horse race with medieval costumes and tons of history. Oh, people go wild. Mira, it's madness.
Oh, come on. A horse race? Really? But France has the Festival d'Avignon with plays and street performances all over the city. Wow.
Italy, you have the Euro Chocolate Festival in Perugia. Oh, do you like chocolate, Mira? Ooh, you like chocolate, Mira?
That sounds amazing. I'm a sucker for chocolate. But you know, Jet Fair could help us find the best deals to get to these festivals. Just saying.
Smart plug, Mira. And hey, if our listeners check out our YouTube channel, they can leave comments about their favorite festivals and concerts.
Speaking of YouTube, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're here to entertain and inform.
And if you're on the fence between France and Italy, just flip a coin. Either way, you're guaranteed a cultural adventure.
Buongiorno, everyone. Or should I say, ciao? Today, we're tackling the languages of livability, and well, you get the idea. Let's see which one's easier to pick up, French or Italian.
Buongiorno! Buongiorno! Mira, you're already butchering both languages? Dude, learning a new language can be a real comedy show itself. So which country makes it easier to become a linguistic comedian?
Well, France is known for its prestigious language schools, right? I mean, the Alliance Française is practically everywhere. Wow. It's like the Starbucks of French learning.
True, but Italy's got a certain charm. You can't throw a pizza stone without hitting a language school in Rome or Florence. Plus, the locals are super encouraging, even if you sound like a confused parrot.
That's true. The French can be a bit particular about their language. If you mispronounce something, they might correct you with a dramatic sigh.
But that's just tough love, right? In Italy, they'll just wave their hands and say, while still understanding you perfectly.
Speaking of which, French pronunciation is challenging. All those nasal sounds. It's like you have to sing the language through your nose.
Tell me about it. But Italian's got its own quirks. Rolling your R's can be a real tongue twister. It's like trying to imitate a purring cat on a Vespa.
But Italian grammar seems simpler. Fewer verb conjugations, right? In French, every verb feels like a complicated dance. Ouch. Ouch.
True, but Italian has gendered nouns for everything, even in animatojects. I mean, why does a table need a gender? It's just a table. Huh.
And the French have all those silent letters. It's like they're playing a prank on language learners. Here's a letter. Now ignore it.
And don't forget the false friends. Words that look similar but mean totally different things. It's a minefield of potential embarrassment.
But think about the cultural immersion. In France, you can soak up the language in cafes, museums, and well, anywhere, really.
Same in Italy. You can learn Italian just by ordering gelato or haggling in a market. Plus, Italian gestures are a language of their own. You could probably have a full conversation without saying a word.
And there are tons of resources online too. YouTube channels, language apps. Learning a language has never been easier.
Totally! And Jen Offea can help you find the best resources for learning either language. It's like having a personal language guru.
So, whether you choose French or Italian, just dive in, make mistakes, and have fun. It's all part of the adventure. Ooh.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to embarrass yourself. Some of my best in-app material comes from my language blunders.
Okay, yo. So, let's dive into safety and comfort for women travelers comparing France and Italy. Buckle up, ladies, because we're about to get real.
Real and hopefully not too scary, Mira. Nobody wants a vacation where they're constantly looking over their shoulder. So, France and Italy to romantic destination, but are they safe for solo female adventurers? Let's find.
First off, let's stop catcalling. It happens, right? No surprise there. Both countries have a bit of a reputation, but the vibe is different. Ooh, in France, it can be more intellectual. Like they're trying to woo you with poetry you don't understand.
Intellectual catcalling? Wow, only in France. I can picture some dude on a Vespa yelling out battle or quotes. Yeah, that's still harassment, pal. Anyway, Italy, I'd say it's more direct, maybe a bit more persistent. It's like they're auditioning for an opera.
Opera singers, exactly. And sometimes they're off-key. Ouch. Seriously, though. It's annoying. The key is to ignore them, right? Don't make eye contact, keep walking. And maybe wear noise-canceling headphones blasting some power anthems.
Noise-canceling headphones are genius. Protect your ears and your peace. Now, what about public transport? You know, late-night metros, crowded buses, are we talking Cinderella stories or horror flicks?
Well, public transport in Paris and Rome can be a mixed bag. During the day, it's usually fine, but late at night, I'd stick to well-lit areas and maybe grab a taxi or Uber. Whoa, safety in numbers, folks.
Good advice, Mira. and maybe learn a few key phrases in French or Italian, like leave me alone, or help. This guy's quoting Rimbaud. Just kidding mostly. Seriously, knowing a little of the local language can make a difference.
And absolutely. And what about dress codes? Should women pack Birkins, or is there anything women should avoid wearing to avoid unwanted attention?
That's a tricky one, Mira. The short answer is wear what you want, but be aware of your surroundings. In more conservative areas, maybe cover up a bit more. It's about being respectful, not about giving anyone an excuse.
And it's always a good idea to research local customs before you go, just to be aware of cultural sensitivities. It's all about being a respectful traveler, right? Ooh.
Precisely. Now, let's talk about the good stuff, what makes France and Italy amazing for women travelers. The art, the food, the history, I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want the streets of Paris or Rome?
And both countries had incredible female role models, right? From Coco Chanel to Sophia Loren, these women broke barriers and inspired generations. Wow. Talk about girl power.
Absolutely. And don't forget the incredible female artists, writers, and thinkers who have shaped these cultures. It's inspiring to walk in their footsteps, you know. Gives you chills.
And both countries are generally safe, right? As long as you're aware of your surroundings and take basic precautions, you're good to go. It's about being smart, not scared.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Most people are happy to assist, especially if you try to speak a little of their language.
And if you experience any harassment or discrimination, don't be afraid to report it. Both countries have laws in place to protect women, so use them. Wow. Knowledge is power, people.
Power indeed. So in a nutshell, France and Italy are both incredible destinations for women travelers. Just be smart, be aware, and don't let the occasional catcall ruin your gelato. Is that too cheesy, Mira?
Never too cheesy, Leo. Just like pizza. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe for more travel tips and hilarious banter. And don't forget to check out Jet Off AI for all your travel planning needs. Ooh.
Yeah, Jet Off AI is amazing. They can help you plan the perfect trip, from finding the best hotels to booking tours and activities. So, what are you waiting for? Get out there and explore the world.
Until next time, stay safe, stay fabulous, and keep laughing. And don't forget to share your own experiences in the comments on YouTube. We love hearing from you. Wow, bye.
Ciao, everyone. And remember, the world is waiting to be explored, so don't be afraid to pack your bags and go. And if anyone catcalls you, just tell them Leo sent you. Just kidding mostly.
Leo? Okay, Leo. Let's talk law France first, as we think of it like a legal spaghetti western.
Legal spaghetti western? I like that image, Mir. So France, Italy. Both have constitutions, right?
France has that Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizens, super old school and influential, you know. Oh, it's like a legal mic drop from the 1700 seconds.
Yeah, a real historical flex. Italy's constitution is post-WWI. I focuses on social rights and equality, bit more modern vibe there.
Right, more like a legal espresso strong and socially conscious. So what's the vibe on free speech in each place?
Both are pretty solid on free speech, but you always find those little differences. France has laws against hate speech, especially related to things like Holocaust denial.
Makes sense, given their history. Italy has hate speech laws, especially against inciting violence or discrimination. It's like they're saying freedom, but be nice about it.
Exactly. Speaking of nice, how about privacy? Are they all not that sweet? We data protection.
Oh yeah. Both countries follow EU data protection rules like GDPR. It's a total paperwork party, but protects people's info?
Paperwork party. I can just imagine. What about freedom of assembly? Can people protest without getting a face full of tear gas?
Generally, yeah. Both countries allow protests, but they need to be authorized and peaceful. You can't just block the Champs-Élysées and expect a pat on the back.
No blocking national monuments, got it. So, fair trials. Any major differences there?
Both countries have a right to a fair trial, with things like legal representation and the presumption of innocence. It's like the bare minimum of decency.
Decency is good. What about the press? Can journalists actually do their job without, disappearing?
For the most part, yeah. But like anywhere, the press can face pressure, especially when covering powerful people. Gotta keep their stories spicy.
Spicy stories need protection. How about property rights? Can you actually own stuff without the government's wiping it?
Usually, yeah. Both countries protect property rights, but the government can take property for public use with compensation. So, like, if they need to build a highway through your vineyard.
Ouch, a highway through the vineyard. That calls for some serious compensation. What about religious freedom? Oh,
Both countries are secular, so people are generally free to practice whatever they want, or nothing at all. As long as you're not, like, sacrificing goats in the town square.
no public goat sacrifices. I get it. What about LGBTQ rights? Are they chill with that?
Spain has been leading the way on LGBTQ rights. They were one of the first countries to legalize same-sex marriage, and their laws protect against discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Boo!
That's awesome. Okay, what about the legal system itself? Is it all wig-wearing and Latin mumbo-jumbo?
Not entirely. Both have civil law systems, which means they rely on written legal codes. It's all about the books.
So less Barry Mason, more. Really boring textbooks. I see. And what about the police?
Depends who you ask. Like anywhere, there can be issues with police misconduct, but there are also mechanisms to hold them accountable. It's a work in progress.
Accountability is key. What about the justice system overall? Is it generally fair? Or does money talk?
Money can always muddy the waters, but generally, both countries try to maintain a fair justice system. It's an ideal, not always a reality.
True. All right, Mira, that's a whirlwind tour of legal landscapes. Think our listeners can handle all that law talk? Wow.
If not, they can always rewind and listen again. Or just binge watch legal dramas. Maybe on YouTube.
Good point, Mira. And if they want the nitty-gritty details, they can check out Jet Off AI.
Always with a plug, Leo. But yeah, Jet Off AI is the place to be for those legal deep dives.
Gotta keep the lights on, Mira. And hey, knowledge is power. Now about spaghetti western.
Alright, Leo. Let's dive into Relaxation. France versus Italy, who's winning the pampering Olympics? I'm picturing myself draped in a fluffy robe already.
Pampering Olympics, I love it. Mira, you'd probably turn it into a dance competition somehow. But seriously, Spot-on sounds great. Let's see if France can outchill Italy.
Oh, you know me too well, Leo. A little tango in the thermal waters, perhaps. Ooh, but France does some serious fuck red. In talking about those fancy thermal baths in the Alps. Wow. Imagine soaking in hot springs with a view of Mont Blanc.
Alpine hot springs, eh? Sounds pretty bourgeois. I can just see you now, sipping champagne in a jacuzzi while everyone else is skiing. But Italy's got a few tricks up its sleeve to Mira. Incas can thermal baths, surrounded by vineyards.
Now you're talking my language. Ooh! Imagine getting a massage with grapeseed oil, then enjoying a glass of Chianti. But France also has the lasciviatory on its coasts. Being massaged with seawater. Whoa, that's my kind of weird.
The lasciviatory, huh? Sounds like a fancy way of saying salty massage. I bet you'd come out looking like a prune. But Italy's got the island vibes going too. Think Sardinia with crystal clear waters and amazing seafood. Healthy and relaxing.
Sardinia sounds amazing. Oh, sun, sea, and seafood, the perfect trifecta. But France also has some unique wellness practices, like forest bathing in the Versus Mountains. Spending time with trees. Sign me up.
Forest bathing? Sounds like a good way to get ticks. Though I guess it's better than city smog. But Italy has a strong tradition of thermal spas, going back to Roman times. You can practically feel the history seeping into your pores.
History pores. That's a new one, Leo? I'm imagining myself in a Roman bath, pretending to be Cleopatra. Wow. But France also has those super-kish spot hounds like Evian Les Bains. So elegant. So elegant.
Evian Les Bains. Sounds like a place where rich people go to drink water and complain about their yachts. But Italy has amazing agritrucios in the countryside, farm stays with yoga classes and organic food.
Agritrucios sound dreamy. Fresh air, good downward-facing dog. Namaste. But France also has some incredible yoga retreats in Provence, surrounded by lavender fields. Lavender and lotus position. Yes, please.
Lavender and lotus? Sounds like a recipe for relaxation-induced snoring. But Italy's got those stunning lakes like Como and Garda. Imagine doing Tai-Chi the water, with the Alps in the background.
I can see myself there, doing my sun's salutations and accidentally splashing into the lake. Worth it. But France has luxury spa hotels in Paris itself. You can get a massage between museum visits.
A massage between museums. Sounds exhausting. But Italy's got the Mediterranean diet going for it. Fresh pasta, olive oil, and sunshine. That's gotta be good for the soul, ooh? And tastes great.
Oh, the Mediterranean diet. Manja. You know how to get to my heart, Leo? But France has those charming countryside markets with fresh cheese and wine. Cheese, wine, and relaxation, it is the life. Boo.
Cheese and wine in France sounds pretty relaxing. You can feel your arteries hardening. But let's face it, both France and Italy know how to do relaxation, right? It just depends what you're into. Am I right?
Absolutely, Leo. Whether it's a thermal bath, a yoga retreat, or just a really good glass of wine, France and Italy have got you covered. Wow, we really want you to get out there. It is good for you.
Right on, Mira. And if you're looking for more travel tips and comparisons, don't forget to check out Jet Off AI. We'll help you plan your next chill-out session in style.
Jet Off AI is the greatest. And don't forget to give us a like on this video on YouTube. A subscription is even better. Ooh, it spreads the love.
That's it for our spa and relaxation comparisons of France and Italy today. Hopefully we've inspired you to take a break, and if not, at least had a laugh in the process.
Ciao. Au revoir. Have fun, everyone. Ooh. Hey, ready to talk about finding your inner peace? Or at least a decent church or temple in France and Italy?
Mira, my inner peace is usually found in a well-brewed espresso. But alright, let's dive into the religious landscape of France and Italy.
Well, France is officially a secular country, right? So you're free to believe whatever tickles your fancy. Or not believe, which is also cool.
True. Y-side is the name of the game in France. But, historically, Catholicism had a huge influence, so those cathedrals are stunning. Wow, you can't deny the architecture, even if you're an atheist like me.
The cathedrals. Notre Dame before the fire chart reads there like holy works of art. But France also has a growing Muslim population and Jewish communities, right?
Absolutely, and the government's supposed to stay neutral. Though, some people always complain about something, you know? It's like everyone having an opinion on the perfect croissant, impossible to satisfy everyone.
Now, Italy, that Vatican City Central. You can't throw it out hitting a church or a priest. Oops. Metaphorically, of course.
Tell me about it. Catholicism is practically baked into Italy's DNA. Wow, every little town has its patron saint and some crazy feast day.
But even with the Catholic dominance, there are other faiths. Jewish communities go back centuries in Italy, and there's a growing number of Muslims and Orthodox Christians. Ooh.
Yep, and the Italian government generally respects religious freedom. Though, you might get some raised eyebrows in smaller, more traditional villages if you're doing something outside the norm.
Sounds is like believe what you want, but keep it private. And Italy is Catholicism everywhere, but will tolerate other stuff.
Kind of a simplified version, but yeah. France is more about the separation of church and state. Italy is more about coexistence with the Vatican casting a long shadow.
But both countries offer spiritual retreats, meditation centers, and all that good stuff, right? For those of us who are more into yoga than organized religion,
Of course, you can find a silent retreat in the French countryside or a Midden-Fulson's workshop in Tuscany. Whatever floats your spiritual boat. Just search on Jet Off AI.
And let's not forget the historical spiritual sites. Like, you can visit the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in France, a place of Catholic pilgrimage. Wow.
Or in Italy, you've got Assisi, the birthplace of St. Francis. Super popular spot for folks seeking some inner peace.
Whether you're into grand cathedrals, quiet meditation, or ancient pilgrimage routes, both France and Italy have something to offer. Right?
Definitely, from the Alps to the Mediterranean, there are spiritual experiences around every corner, as long as you don't trip over a priest or a tourist group. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And hey, if you are struggling to find what you are looking for, check out Jet Off AI.
Okay, next topic, before I spill my coffee into my own religious experience. Oops.
Alright, Leo. Let's tackle the ever so delicate topic of social equality, respect for minorities, and diversity in France and Italy. Buckle up, it's gonna be a ride.
A ride indeed, Mira. It's like comparing to families arguing at a Sunday dinner. Everyone's got an opinion, and nobody's quite agreeing.
France, with its liberté ega light, for tonight, has always projected this image of universalists. But how much of that is actually true?
Well, France's Republican model aims for equality by supposedly ignoring differences. Everyone's French, end of story. But reality is a bit more nuanced, wouldn't you say?
It's like saying everyone's welcome to the party, but they all have to wear the same outfit. The burqa and eye controversies are a prime example. Oops.
Right? France is like, come as you are. As long as you're wearing what we expect you to wear. Sarcasm intended, of course.
And then there's Italy, which never really pretended to have this colorblind approach. They like, we are Italian first, others later.
Italy, on the other hand, deals with diversity in a more, how shall we say, passionate way. It's like a Shakespearean drama full of love, hate, and everything in between.
Passionate is one word for it. The reality is that Italy struggles with integrating Roma communities, and anti-immigrant sentiments often bubble to the surface. Wow.
True mirror. Italy is like, mi casa es su casa, but maybe just stay in the guest room. There's hospitality, but also a healthy dose of skepticism.
Speaking of which, the whole concept of citizenship is a hot potato in both countries. It's not always easy to become fully French or Italian, even if you were born there. Ouch.
Yeah, it's like a super exclusive club where the bouncer keeps changing the rules. Sorry, you don't have the right paperwork, or the right last name, they might as well say.
And let's not forget about regional disparities. Southern Italy, for instance, often feels like a different country compared to the industrialized north. It is like another world.
Like two different playlists on the same national radio station. France has its own divisions too, between the bustling cities and the rural, often forgotten countryside.
Where does that leave minorities in both these countries? Do they feel truly integrated? Or like they're constantly walking on eggshells? That is the question.
Good question, Mira. It's like asking if the pizza is really gluten-free. You can never be quite sure until you take a bite, and potentially regret it later.
That reminds me, the conversation around immigration is always so politicized. It's like a never-ending soccer match where everyone's screaming at the referee. Oops.
Oh, it's worse than soccer. It's like a reality TV show where the contestants are all trying to out-argue each other. And the prize is, well, nobody really knows.
Well, since we mentioned that, what about the media representation? Do they portray minorities fairly, or do they perpetuate stereotypes? Are they heroes or villains?
Media representation is a funhouse mirror. It distorts, exaggerates, and rarely shows the full picture. Some channels are like, let's find the most outrageous story to get clicks. out.
And then there's the issue of social mobility. Can someone from a disadvantaged background actually climb the ladder in France or Italy, or are the decks stacked against them? Let's think about that.
Social mobility. In some circles, it's like trying to climb a grease pole during a festival. If you manage it, but most end up sliding back down. Sarcasm intended.
Social equality, respect for minorities, and diversity. Still work in progress, right? No easy answers here. Wow.
A work in progress. It's more like a massive construction project with constant delays, budget cuts, and design changes.
Do you guys agree with us about that? Don't forget to share your comments when this episode goes up on YouTube.
Exactly. Let us know your thoughts. Who knows? Maybe one day Jedi will build an AI to solve all these issues. Now that would be something.
It would. Meanwhile, what did the pizza say to the prejudiced person? You want a piece of me? Thanks for the brain workout, Leo.
My pleasure, Mira. As always, it's been enlightening. And slightly terrifying. Until next time, folks.
All right, Leo. Let's talk about the not-so-thrilling but totally essential stuff: taxes, retirement, and social security for immigrants. In France like a party, right?
A tax party. Mira, you always know how to make even the most boring topic sound slightly less boring. Seriously though, this is key for anyone thinking of settling down long term. Where do you even start with this stuff?
Well, let's kick off with France. If you're planning on becoming a long-term resident, you're basically signing up for the full French tax experience. And trust me, it's an experience. Ooh.
So, I think that we can talk to that. Full French tax experience, wow. That sounds intense. So, what does that involve? Are we talking about a simple majority of the taxman and then moving on? Or is it more complicated?
Nothing is simple when it comes to taxes. You're looking at income tax, social security contributions, and possibly even wealth tax if you're feeling particularly flush. It's all progressive, so the more you earn, the more they take. C'est cela.
Progressive taxation, the joy of seeing a bigger number on your paycheck, only to watch a bigger chunk disappear. Sounds charming. What about Italy then? Is it tax heaven or tax hell?
Italy, bell'Italia, it's got its own charm. But tax-wise, it's no walk in the park either. Income tax is also progressive, and social security contributions are pretty significant. But hey, at least you're paying for amazing healthcare and a decent pension, right? Oh.
Decent pension. In this day and age, a decent pension feels like finding a unicorn riding a scooter. What kind of social rights are we talking about for immigrants in France, though?
France is pretty generous when it comes to social rights, especially if you're a legal resident. You've got access to healthcare, unemployment benefits, and family allowances, regardless of your origin. Liberté, e.g. light, Freighter night, and all that.
Nice. Equality. Although, tell that to someone wading through French bureaucracy, equality might not be the first word that springs to mind. What's the story in Italy for social benefits?
Italy also offers a solid range of social benefits to legal residents, including healthcare, maternity leave, and family support. However, some benefits might be tied to your employment status or length of residency. It's not always a smooth ride.
So both countries offer decent social nets, but with hoops to jump through. Makes sense. What about retirement, though? I'd assume after decades of paying taxes, immigrants get a fair shake, right?
Well, in France, if you've contributed to the social security system for long enough, you are entitled to a state pension. The retirement age is around 62, but you might need to work longer to get the full payout. Patience is key. Oh.
Patience is a LWIS key with retirement planning. What kind of financial acrobatics do you need to perform in Italy to secure that elusive decent pension?
In Italy, the retirement age is a bit higher, around 67, and the pension amount depends on your contributions. If you haven't paid in enough, you might need to supplement it with private savings or investments. Mamma mia, plan ahead.
So, Both countries are basically saying work hard, pay your dues, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get to relax in your golden years if there's any goal left. Any big differences to note when comparing these two?
France is generally seen as having a more straightforward system, albeit with higher taxes. Italy's system can be a bit more complex, with regional variations and more emphasis on private contributions. Choose your adventure. Here's your adventure.
Right? Choose your adventure or choose your level of bureaucratic headache. Any words of wisdom for our listeners contemplating these long-term moves?
Definitely do your homework, get professional advice, and be prepared for paperwork mountains. But hey, at least you'll be living in two of the most beautiful countries in the world while you're navigating it all. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights.
True. And don't forget to check out Jet Off AI for resources to help make your international all move easier. Whether it's sunny Italy or romantic France, at least you'll have good food and wine while dealing with the taxman.
And remember, laughter is the best medicine, even when you're filling out tax forms. Oh, until next time, ciao and au revoir. Alright, Leo, let's talk about France and Italy. I mean, can you even imagine being bored in either of those places? Talk about passion central.
Bored. Mira, if someone's bored in France or Italy, they're probably clinically dead. I mean, what more do you want? Good food, good wine, beautiful women.
Leo, you're incorrigible. But you're right. France as well, France. History, art, fashion. It's like a giant adult playground. Oh.
And Italy. Don't even get me started. Ancient ruins, the Vatican, the Dolomites. I could spend a lifetime just wandering around and taking pictures. Wow. And I'm pretty sure that a lifetime wouldn't be enough to eat every pizza variation.
I mean, if you're into niche hobbies, both countries have you covered. France has obscure literary societies and competitive snail racing. Probably.
Snail racing? Is that a real thing? Well, I'm picturing tiny Formula One cars for snails. Okay, that's going in my next stanza.
Inspiration strikes, and Italy has. I don't know. Competitive olive oil tasting? Opera karaoke?
Opera karaoke. Now that's something I'd pay to see. Imagine a bunch of tourists belting out Verdi after a few bottles of Chianti.
Oh my gosh, Leo. I'm dire. We should pitch that idea to a travel agency. Opera karaoke tours of Italy. It'll be the next big thing.
Well, if the idea is successful, Jet Off, I will definitely be a part of it.
But seriously, if you're into cooking, both countries are paradise. French cuisine is legendary, of course, but Italian food is just pure comfort food.
That's true. I think I could happily live on pasta and espresso for the rest of my days. I may want to try it, but not yet.
Me too. And not forget art, Theo. The Louvre. The Uffizi. You could spend weeks in those museums and still not see everything. Wow.
True, but I'm not sure my feet could handle it. I'd probably need to invest in a scooter or something.
A scooter in the Louvre. Oh, Leo, you're right. You're right. There's just so much to see. You might not even be able to do it.
Well, I'll give it a try. You'll hear about it when I put it on YouTube.
But what about sports? France has the Tour de France, which is insane. And Italy has football, obviously. Whoa.
Football, and don't forget the motorbike craziness. Valentino Rossi is practically a god over there. People kill for him.
And don't even get me started on the landscape, both for some of the most beautiful locations for your social media posts.
I get what you were saying. I think that people, no matter what their interest is, will find something to see in both countries.
You were right. Both are amazing locations. I still don't know where to vacation.
It's all about choices, like on Jet Off AI. Pick whichever one you wish. It's there for you.
Well, Leo, it seems like both France and Italy scored pretty high on the meeting specific interest scale. I can't wait to see what our listeners think. Wow.
Agree. I guess the only problem is deciding which one to visit first. Maybe we should flip a coin.